Would you rather break up with your black girlfriend in a busy restaurant, or would you rather your Latina girlfriend found out you were cheating while you were at work? It's something to chew on. So Arugami Media is someone I know personally, and that's like an ad agency. So say you have a fucking small business where you help people with long second toes, like shave it down, and you've got a storefront on Encino, and you want to channel people or connect with people on the internet or whatever, but you don't know how to make content because a lot of people don't fucking know how to make content.
I feel like we need marketing for that, just because like the people that have like those overgrown toes are like in the middle of nowhere.
You're looking at them in the eyes.
They're not going to look at fucking billboards, dude. They're going to be in the middle of like Kentucky
looking at
or
the floor.
Kansas. You need to reach them, bro. You need to reach them through fucking put it on the back of PBR cans.
Or, I mean, feet only fans, because I feel like people with fucked up feet are the ones who probably have the most feet fetishes because they romanticize good
like
feet.
What they don't have, dude. It's like how I watch big cock porn.
Sometimes I gotta see a fucking huge dong, and then I hit the highlight reel like, that's my huge dong.
Yeah, with your fingers crossed in one hand and your cock in the other one.
Yo, when I was a kid, I was like, am I gay? Because I can't watch porn unless there's another dick in it. I can't just watch some girl go down another girl unless one of them's related to me. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
That thing is it's gonna look like a...
Dude, I have so many vapes.
Foxy Brown verses in here.
Yeah, dude, it's ridiculous.
Is that more nicotine than the fuckboy vapey I have?
What I do, I add a lot of nicotine to it, dude. Like I take a 6 milligram nicotine bottle and then I add like another 6.
Get the fuck out of here,
Yeah. Like not another 6.
Do you have erectile dysfunction?
I don't. Surprisingly, I don't.
Because that's like, they say nicotine is like, that's
dude.
limp dick territory, kid.
Dude, it's weird. I mean, dude, I did hard drugs for a long fucking time.
Speak up, because that's probably the best part of the episode.
I did hard drugs for a long fucking time, dude. Like, long time, and this is nothing. If this is my last vice, this and eating like shit, like that, then I'm doing okay. And the one thing I realized about anything is you will quit when you're ready. Like, I smoke cigarettes, and I didn't stop smoking cigarettes till I had about 18 months or 2 years sober.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have a lot of friends who did like 12-step programs and shit like that.
No, I don't do 12-step programs.
You didn't? So
I did at first, and I'm very against it. I'm very against the mentality of this is the only way that this works. Like, I work in the treatment industry. I went to school for this. I didn't test out. I finished school. COVID hit. So like, I'm literally like paying a $300 fee and taking the test away from being a licensed clinician. But I look at it from that perspective. Like, there are so many different ways towards it.
Yeah.
Like, it's also the thing about 12-step programs is it's like I've seen people chased out of an AA meeting because they're on Suboxone or they share that. And it's like, that might be that person's version of recovery.
What's Suboxone?
Suboxone is back east, they use methadone. It's a big thing. Do you remember, methadone clinics?
Oh, yeah.
So it's something that you use to get off opiates, but it's used as a maintenance thing. So you stop doing heroin, you're put on Suboxone, and you're on like a dose of Suboxone daily that is from a doctor. And you can abuse it. It could be a legal way to be high, but there's also a lot of people that need that because they've tried to get sober.
They can't go full clean.
Most addicts will. They pick something up. They will go back to their drug of choice. Like, for me, I don't want to risk it. So I 100%, like, no alcohol, no weed, no painkillers. If I have surgery, I avoid painkillers. No medications whatsoever. But 12-step programs are very polarized thinking of like,
that's the right way to do it.
That's the only way to do it.
Sure.
Rather than acknowledging. I've seen people in 12-step programs, and it's not the program, it's the people. The people have destroyed it. It's a great concept.
Oh, I got you.
The people have destroyed it. I've seen people tell them, oh, you can't be on your... Like, I had somebody that I knew who their sponsor told them, you can't be on your psych meds, which is like for depression. And it's like, that's not a controlled substance. You're not abusing it. That's just somebody trying to control your life.
Sure.
And when I was like, this isn't the only way, people in the program would go, oh, no, we're not saying it's the only way. Go try your way. And then they'd be super sarcastic and be like, oh, we're saving a seat for you, though, when you get back. And it's just like so condescending that I was like, I didn't want, and I also didn't want to be that person that got off of shit that I was dependent on drugs every day, something. And I didn't want to get off of it and be dependent on, if I don't get to a meeting today, I'm going to relapse.
I got you.
So, yeah.
Look, I got to go baby steps. Where'd you grow up? You say East Coast.
Long Island.
Long Island.
Yes.
Why do I think Chicago? Did you say something about Chicago?
No, my buddy's from Chicago.
Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Long Island until what? How old were you when you left?
I was, okay, so this is a lot. So I've had a weird story. So I can run the whole thing for you if you want.
Go for it. Fuck yeah.
And if you want, I'll try to run through it. Stop me at any point and ask me anything. I'm really open about it.
I got you.
So my mom and dad were both addicts.
Uh-huh.
So when I was born, I tested positive for heroin, methadone, cocaine, and marijuana.
And they were doing it all.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was immediately, from when I was born, I was put into a detox unit in the hospital, and then I was taken away and placed into a foster home, like from birth.
Oh, wow.
I was in that home for a little while, and then my grandmother and my grandfather took custody of me.
Yeah.
And I was with them till I was about 6 or 7. My parents got me back. So from when I was like 6 on, I was with my parents. And then when I was 8, the state stepped in again and took me away and put me back into foster care. So right before foster care, I was with aunt and uncle in Pennsylvania.
Sure.
For about 2 years, and then foster home for 2.5 or 3.
Sure.
So from like when I was born until I was 12 and a half, 13, I was only with my biological parents for about 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they got me back when I was 12 and
Clean?
no.
They were still
So the thing is, like, my mom stopped. My mom stopped shooting dope. They only need one parent to do it. And eventually she got back into it, but they would still drink occasionally.
Sure.
My dad was still using.
And you always knew what was going on, even at that age?
Yeah. So, and that's stuff that I'm starting to realize now because I'm in therapy for a lot of this.
Yeah.
Shit like that shapes your relationships for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Like my issues with women, low self-esteem, self-worth, it all comes down to stuff like that. And somewhere, now that I know this because I was an addict myself and I get the strength that drugs has over you, I understand it logically, but as a 8-year-old kid in a courtroom, being separated from my parents, emotionally my brain went, why wasn't I good enough to stop the drugs for
Right.
And that fucks you up. And it takes a lot of work to like change that from the emotional side of your brain to the logical side.
Sure.
Which is what I'm working on now.
How old were you when you tried your first thing? Anything? Weed or anything?
So right after I got home from foster care, we were moving apartments in the same building. And we moved everything. And my parents were upstairs. They were painting the old apartment. Yeah. Because they wanted to save a dime, on the security deposit.
Right.
And I walked in and they were smoking a joint. And right there, like, I smoked with them.
How old are you?
12.
Okay.
13.
Yeah.
I was 13. And then I thought it was like this big fucking secret. Like, I thought that I just like killed somebody.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't tell anybody this. But I had a neighbor that was a surfer and he was super cool. He was in his 20s. So I went to his apartment. I was like, hey man, can I like tell you something? He was like, what's up? I was like, you can't tell anybody. But I just like smoked marijuana. And he was like, have a seat. And he broke out this pipe and he was like, listen, man. And I still remember this thing. And this pipe is like a wooden fucking weed pipe. And it was like the bowl where you pack the weed was like this chick's face. And then like where you hit it from was like her legs spread open.
Fuck yeah.
And he was like, I'm not going to smoke with you till you're 18. He was like, but I want you to know that people do this.
Sure.
And then I started to realize people at school did it. And that's like where I started to make friends.
Yeah.
And I smoked occasionally and then I smoked every day. And I remember I went camping like a month later with my friend's family. And my friend's neighbor took us all camping. They own the liquor store in my town. They brought all this booze. And I'd never, from that point, it was the first time I was separated from my parents. I was terrified. I was like crying, horrible separation anxiety. My friend's mom was like, hey, why don't you have one of these? And gave me, it was a Twisted Tea. Do you remember those?
Yeah, dude. I fucking had one like
Actually,
a month ago.
They just made a comeback.
Yeah.
Did you see that fucking video of that dude just laying that dude out?
Yeah. They're like a fucking savory Four Locos now.
Yeah, Four Locos were shit, bro. I remember old Four Locos. Dude, I couldn't drink more than two of those.
Yeah, no, I would be devastated, Trish.
And only thing that ever gave me a hangover, like a significant hangover.
Right.
Yeah, so I remember drinking, and it just showed me right at that point that no matter what I was feeling, if I put something in my system, it would make it go away. So that was like right there I learned.
Yeah.
But
This is a numbing agent.
and I always had it with something else. Like when I was in foster care, I used to lock myself in the room and I would like fucking blast like old Eminem, like when Eminem was like pissed off and like
Cassette recorder over to another cassette recorder, so the audio would be trash.
dude, it was a shit show. I think I had
LP years.
yeah, and I would lock myself in my room and I would listen to that and I would just fucking play like Grand Theft Auto Vice City like religiously.
That was the most
and I would
impactful video game of all time.
dude, I would just like kill hookers all day and like fucking
dude, that's so funny. Okay.
Yeah. And then I spent from when I was 13 until I was 16, just like a week before my 14th birthday, I started railing coke and eating Xanax.
What birthday?
14th. So right,
Coke
I was
and
still
Xanax
I was
before quinceañera.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, before the quinceañera, bro.
Fuck, dude.
And yeah, it was a shit show, man. I used to want to try everything. I would get as fucked up as possible. I was always the one that took it to an extreme.
Did you were you ever a kid who had to get his stomach pumped because you partied too hard young? Or?
No, dude.
Oh, so I
didn't end up in the hospital for drugs till I was like 17 or 18.
Okay.
That was the first time I like ended up in the hospital. I OD'd once when I was 14, and my parents, because they were around this all the time, right into the fucking shower, into the fucking cold water.
Yep.
Woke up, literally shit my pants, which means I was dead. Because when you die, you void your bowels. Yeah, it was bad.
Bowels. That's the name of the pod now.
Dude, that's a good pod right there. Yeah, dude, I used to wake up in the morning at like 14 or 15 and I would wake up in the morning and I would immediately take like 4 or 5 2 milligram Xanax bars, like right off the bat. I would smoke a joint. I would get out of bed. I would grab a beer. I would open it. I would get in the shower. And then I would get out and I would eat like another 1 or 2 bars. And then just fucking, I would eat pieces, like half pieces of Xanax all fucking day, on top of drinking, on top of fucking smoking. I was selling a lot of weed. I was selling a lot of Xanax at the time. And yeah, man, I mean, I was a maniac. And then I turned 16. At this point, I'd never had an experience with, I was still a virgin at that point.
I was literally about to get that. I'm like, there's an intersect with women in your life and shit changes right when you fucking see that.
Yeah.
That turkey envelope.
I just turned 16 and it was like 3 days after Christmas. And I was talking to this girl online. I don't even remember how I'm like back then. It was like MySpace or some shit. So I grew up in a little town called Long Beach. And if you go right over the bridge, there was a little town called Island Park. And there was always a beef between those towns. You know what I mean? There was always an issue. And I remember I went over there to meet this girl. I was not attracted to her whatsoever, but I also wanted to get it over with. So I literally that whole day I drank a quart of Svedka, the vodka, and I ate 14 Xanax bars and I smoked weed all day. And I got there and I didn't have a cell phone because I don't even know if cell phones were like a thing back then. Bro. They were, but like not big. So I remember going to like this bar and using the payphone and calling her, and she didn't answer. And I was waiting where I was supposed to meet her, which was in front of a fucking elementary school, ironically. This story is not going where you think it's going. No. These kids surrounded me. I didn't know this at the time. I found this out like a year or two later. I don't remember any of this. These kids surrounded me. I remember this part. And they all had like fucking pieces of wood, like 2x4s and like fucking like makeshift fucking weapons. And they wanted to like fight me or some shit because where I was from. And I thought it was a good idea to leave the house that day, really fucked up with like an 11.5-inch hunting knife, like hanging off my belt. And it was snowing. So I was like, oh, okay. So I pulled my coat back and flashed it and they all scattered. So apparently they called the cops and said I robbed them at that point. I got arrested, got my ass kicked by the fucking police. Got arrested, woke up in jail. And I thought they kept saying, you have a class D felony, which is like still bad, but it's like, the way that it goes back there is like you have A through E, A being the worst, E being the least. So like A is a murder, D and E is like a fucking grand larceny. So I was like, whatever. And when I came to, the lawyer was like, no, you have a class B felony, which holds a 5 to 25 year sentence. As a minor, you could still do a few years. And if you fight this and you don't plead out and you waste the state's money and time, they're going to give you 7.5 to 15. And I'm 16 years old. And I'm like, I'm about to spend the same amount of time in prison that I spent on this planet. Also didn't get laid that night. So I'm like, I'm going to prison a virgin.
You took 14 Xanax. You weren't going to get laid that night.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Your
I
dick
might
was
have got laid,
cauliflower.
but I was not going to come, bro. Like, I was there, but I wasn't coming.
Yeah. Did she even exist, this fucking girl?
She did, and I'm friends with her on social media, and I don't think it was anything with her. I think that these kids caught me. She didn't set me up because she wasn't part of that crew.
Sure.
And it's weird because I ran into the main kid that fucking filed the charges against me at an AA meeting like a year and a half after that, 2 years after that.
Get the fuck out of
I
here.
wasn't even mad.
What do you have to say?
He acted like he didn't
He's the one
know.
who told you that they called the cops on you.
No, I found this out because my parents' friends were hanging out at the bar. I knew they called the cops on me because the statements that were signed were against them.
Wow.
Also, part of this was they interrogated and questioned me as a minor without an attorney and without my parents present. And I was in such a blackout. They said, "Hey, sign this piece of paper, and this is your discharge paperwork, and we'll send you home." And it was a full-on confession, dude.
Wow.
And yeah, so I spent a few months in jail, not knowing what was going to happen. And they hit me with, they were like, "Listen, we'll give you 5 years probation, felony probation."
Yeah.
And
You're showing up once a month and getting drug tested.
no, I was like twice a week to start, which I was like, whatever. At that point, I was like, I have a little bit of a problem with drugs, I think. I was like, maybe I should slow down. This will be good for me. And like 4 months in jail. And I had 3 months in, and you would do like 3 months and 20 days out of it. I was like, fine, whatever.
Right.
Got out, did probation for a little bit, stopped doing all drugs, but started drinking like on a daily basis.
Sure.
And then about a year and a half, 2 years into my probation, I stopped reporting.
You just stopped showing up and calling.
Stopped showing up.
And you
In that
figured,
2
you
years,
figured if it's that serious, they'll come for me.
Yeah, and they did. They came for me. They sent the U.S. Marshals to my house twice.
Sweet.
I was in the house. They didn't find me. Dude,
Like hiding in your house while they were...
One of the scariest moments in my life at that time was they came early in the morning. I was asleep. My parents were like, "Yo, the fucking cops are here." I go in my parents' room, and there's 2 closets. And I go in the closet, and I close the door. They come in. They search the whole fucking house. They come to the closet. I hear them about to grab the doorknob. And it was like, I held the doorknob like with my fingers around it. And I pulled in. So they could still spin the doorknob, but they couldn't pull the door open. And I lived across the street from the beach. So they were like, I guess they figured that the fucking door like swelled shut from like being near the salt water. They left.
Wow.
And then I still didn't report. And they caught me about 3 years after that. And they sent the cops to my house to get somebody who was dealing drugs out of my house. And they didn't find him, but they found me in this stairwell that used to go from my kitchen to my upstairs neighbor's kitchen, who also dealt drugs. So she would like know if I knocked on the door, let me in. And she didn't open the door that time. I guess she wasn't home or sleeping or some shit. So I'm in there. They searched the whole house. I literally I lay down flat on the stairs. I'm also like butt ass naked at this point because it's like 4:30 in the morning and I haven't had like my morning dose of fucking heroin yet. So I'm like, fuck this. They come in, they look, they open the door to the stairwell. I see the flashlight go up, go down, nothing. Shut the door. Literally ran the flashlight right over me like it was nothing. I'm like, thank God. And then I hear, because they sent like a fucking unit, bro. Like there were dudes with shotguns outside of the windows on the side of the building. The sergeant walks in the apartment. He's like, "Oh, you check everything?" He goes, "You check that stairwell?" He goes, "What's that, a stairwell?" He goes, "You check it?" They go, "Yeah." He goes, "Check it again." Opens the door. I see the flashlight come halfway up and just drop. And I hear the gun come out of the holster. And I'm like, oh, fuck, dude. Let me see your fucking hands, all this shit. They pull me out, fucking all this shit, off to jail. At that point, I was so deep in a heroin addiction that I did 13 days in jail. I didn't sleep. I was looking at a few years over my head. I think it was like 4 years they could have given me.
Yep.
And I go to court one day. And the lawyer comes down and she goes, "Hey, here's the deal." She goes, "They're going to release you today to a program. It is a minimum 18-month program, inpatient, like Phoenix House or like one of these like behavior modification programs. And if you don't complete it or you fuck it up, you're doing 6 years in prison. That's the terms you're signing today. And I was so strung out and so sick with my addiction that I was like, I'm going to sign that. And as soon as they release me to that program, I'm going to fucking bounce and they can come find me again. And they brought me back up to the courtroom and I was about to sign the paperwork. And right before they brought me up, she came back down. She goes, "You ready to do this?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "But what would be my sentence if I just want to do my time right now?" And I was thinking 1.5 years, on the low end, 1.5 years. And I was ready to do that. And she didn't come back down. She pulled me up in the courtroom and I thought I was signing the deal. And she goes, "Don't say shit except thank you," and nod to the judge. And I go, "What happened?" She goes, "I just got you time served. You're going home today. You have no probation hanging over your head and you're done." I guess because they looked at it like I was a drug addict, but I also wasn't out committing crimes. Like I was on the run, I guess, for 3 years, but I wasn't out there doing shit.
Yeah, they told
just
that
in my
you were a
house.
diseased dude.
Yeah, and I went home, and I remember getting on the bus to go home from the jail, and I called my parents, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They're like, "Oh, so-and-so's coming over," which was my dealer, which I knew. He just started dealing heroin. He was bringing them shit. I was like, "Tell him to hold me a bag." And they were like, "No, dude." And I was like, "It's going to be a one-time thing. I haven't slept in 14 days. I'm really sick." And it was just off to the races again. And that lasted...
Pills or shooting?
Shooting. Like full-on shooting. And then that lasted about a year. And I was fully strung out again. I was walking to the store to get cigarettes. And a minivan pulled up. And they were like, "Hey, you got ID on you?" I was like, "Yeah." I show them my ID. I thought it was like a random stop. They were like, "Put your hands behind your back."
They were looking for you.
Put my hands behind my back. Thank God I was off probation because this would have fucking... If I was still on probation and this happened, it would have been a nightmare. So they put me in the car. They're like, "Hey, do you want to, call anybody, tell them you're not coming home?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to call my mom, tell her I'm not coming back with cigarettes and shit." They go, "Oh, okay. You can go tell her." They pull up to my house. Now they bring my mom out in handcuffs. So I'm like, "What the fuck?" They throw her right in the back of the car with me. I'm like, "What's going on?" They start driving. These dudes were in plain clothes. They leave my town, which is small. So I was like, okay, it's not my city. I'm like, this got to be a county thing. They leave the county. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And they take me to this like old abandoned airplane hangar that they were using for their shit. So at the time, the opiate epidemic got so bad in New York, in the tri-state area, that Nassau County Police Department teamed up with the DEA and they started this thing called the Bureau of Special Operations. And their job was to come in, grab people that were buying, flip them, get the dealer, all this shit. Turns out that they had me on video and audio making a sale of a few bags of heroin to an undercover DEA agent. Fucking done. Somehow got the same judge I got last time. Sitting in jail for about 5 or 6 months. They were telling me, no deal, no deal. We're giving you 9 years. You're getting the max, all this shit. They were giving my mom double that because she had 2 counts, same thing. Making an example. I was all over the news. You could also put my mugshot if you'd like on this podcast.
Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah. Just search William Cavanagh, Long Beach, New York.
I knew you had a fucking adult name, William Cavanagh.
I do. That's also something I never understood, like adult names. Like, dude, I met somebody who named their kid like Howard, and I was like, how do you name your fucking kid? Like,
how do you look him in the eye, an infant in the eyes, and call him fucking Howard?
I never even pictured that Howards were children. I thought they turned like 37 years old and then they become Howard. Or
how
like
do you tell me some spics call me Philip? How do you look at a fucking toddler and say Philip? But they just knew Felipe wasn't gonna play nice. That shit was not gonna play. One of my closest friends is named Billy. He's like 6'5", looks like a running back for the Giants. I'm like, at what point is it fucking William, dude?
Jesus Christ.
Not Billy. It should be fucking B. Murda at this point. Oh my God. I hope this is not you, dude, because this is like Hills Have Eyes meets Making a Murderer.
That's me right there.
Brendan Dacy.
Is it 2 people?
Mother and son charged in heroin bust. Dude, this is fucking you, dude. Where did I put that? Oh my God. This fucking story just got so real, bro. It was bad.
Greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah. DNR pest control, ants, bed bugs, roaches. Do you have fleas in your pubes sometimes? Mites and wildlife, you name it. Did your Dominican girlfriend leave a ripe banana on the counter for too long? Do you not rinse shit before putting it in the sink because you were raised by a woman with long acrylics? Or are you just a piece of shit? DNR pest control, done right.
Northern New Jersey, Hudson County, even New York City area. DNR, pest control done right.
By the way, back to like naming their fucking people naming their kids. My grandfather's name was Joseph, and my dad's name was William. So they were either going to call me Joseph William or William Joseph. And then my dad was like, let's name him Billy, like just legally. And then my grandmother was like, oh yeah, we could call him BJ. And my mom was like, that's not fucking happening. Like that's it right there.
I'm not taking work home with me.
Thank God. The amount of times I ended up in jail as like a young fucking kid with no fucking beard and like this fucking soft fucking baby skin. If my name would have been BJ, dude, I would have been fucked.
Yo, let me ask you. Was 2018 a tough year to have the last name Cavanagh?
Oh, because my uncle, the senator?
Dude, you're kidding. You're not related to fucking Cavanagh. He got confirmed and all of Planned Parenthood just started bleeding. You never got butt fucked in prison.
I did not.
Congratulations,
that
bro.
That was always a concern of mine.
I'm looking at your buckshot. I'm like, that's butt fuckability.
I was like, I'm going to jail a virgin. I was like, I need to make it my mission to come out a virgin.
Do you have any tricks to not get fucked in prison? Did you have? I mean, because I'm sure that was like at the top of your to-do list every day.
Huh.
Don't get fucking slid in on.
Yeah, dude. Good point. I'm trying to think, dude.
You know that was at the top of the list. It wasn't even eating. It was like cup noodles. Don't fuck me.
I always got a job in jail, really. I didn't go to state prison. I went to county jail.
Playing basketball and fucking serving cup noodles.
I worked the food cart.
Yeah.
And I worked the kitchen. And you don't fuck the people that control your food.
That's fucking so funny. Dude, my brother did the same thing.
And it was nuts because you would have these people that, like, the shit that we used to do to people's food.
Oh, amazing. What's the worst thing you remember? And we'll just pretend you didn't do it.
Oh, I don't give a shit, dude. I could tell you the worst thing I did. I took the fucking the rag that we wash shit with.
Yeah.
And we had like fucking shitty egg rolls and rice, and I opened somebody's tray and I wrung the fucking rag out. Tell you the worst thing.
Turnpike right there.
I saw somebody put broken glass in somebody's food. The guy was a child molester, so I mean.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Aligns with his brand.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fucking horrid.
Yeah.
That could have been on your friend's fucking food and beverage podcast.
Oh, it will be.
I think the most disgusting thing I saw happen at a restaurant was at an Outback Steakhouse where this guy, I guess, was complaining and he kept sending a prime rib back saying it was like not cooked and they gave him like every temperature because the prime rib is slow roasting all fucking day long and they have like one is your fucking medium, one's your mid rare. So they cut him a cut of every fucking one and he just kept saying it wasn't the right cut. So the head, get this fucking hoodmobile out of there. So the head chef got so pissed, he literally in front of us and was dying laughing. And he was like a Hispanic guy. He cleaned out his fingernails.
Oh fuck, dude!
And maybe gathered like half a gram of filth and just like thumbed it right into like the last cut of prime rib he was willing to serve this guy.
Damn, bro.
So at one point he ate whatever was under his fucking nails in one bite, like a clove, like a garlic clove.
What a lovely accoutrement, bro.
Dude, divine.
Divine, bro.
We've got another proud partner, Michael Navarrete. Michael Navarrete, he hosts a podcast called Droppin' Dimes. Michael Navarrete is also a relationship coach. Did you dog your girl 7 times and now you're trying to offer some sort of gesture because you want to repair the relationship? Don't fucking hit him up. Only serious inquiries, okay? If you're lacking intimacy, right? Maybe you want to get a deeper understanding of yourself. Maybe you want to identify underlying negative patterns in your relationship. The real deal. The soft, mushy stuff that makes your heart go boom, boom. Mikey can get you there. He's gifted. He's got a talent, and he knows how to identify and recognize these issues and enhance communication and deepen intimacy.
I think I need to call Michael Navarrete.
Michael Navarrete might be your fucking guy, dude.
Yeah, dude. He might be my Tony fucking Robbins.
I met him on Zoom, and I thought it was going to be like 7 minutes. 7 minutes talking about Latin music. This fucking an hour and a half, and I almost wept. Michael Navarrete, here's his digital business card, hollaatyourboy.com. He can see you in person if you're in the Miami area. Otherwise, it's going to be Zoom City. Michael Navarrete, proud partner.
There's a movie that just came out. It's called Body Brokers. The treatment industry got so flooded because Obama passed the Affordable Care Act, and what it did was it made insurance companies have to cover substance abuse treatment, no matter what.
Sure.
So these people will get insurance, and let's say somebody checks into detox and rehab for like 35 days. They know that they're getting like 160 grand from the insurance company. And they will go, okay, we're getting 160 grand for one patient for 30 days. So let's say they find you. They're like, oh, you know addicts. If they have insurance, send them to my rehab. I'll give you 8 grand after they're with us for 10 days and the first payment comes in. Now, these people on the street started realizing the more addicts you get in, the more money. And they started taking people who had 3 or 4 months sober, and they would go, hey, I'll give you $500, buy you a hotel room.
If you relapse.
And give you drugs to get high for like 2 days and then go back to treatment. And it became human trafficking. If you get caught doing it, it's a shit show. The whole industry went to shit. And my friend from Jersey died because of that. Like, I've watched so many people die. Like, that's why I refuse to get on that side. Like, my job ultimately is the business development of the facility. Like,
Sure.
I have to do the marketing. I have to make sure that we have an influx of clients. But I've always refused to be the fucking dude that does it the way that those people have done it. It's just
sure.
They make a lot of money. It lasts a little while. Multiple people die. Those people usually relapse because they're making fast money and they end up dead. Movie Body Brokers that just came out, and it's got like Frank Grillo in it, and it's the dude from
get the fuck out of here.
The dude from The Wire.
He was also in the the fucking
That
When They See
movie's
Us.
sick, dude, and it's a perfect depiction of what that industry was like. It also happened out here, Florida. Florida started getting raided by the FBI, sober living homes. There was a guy in Florida that used to have an outpatient program, and he would run the outpatient for the insurance for these people, bill for that, get payments. He was doing fraud to cover their housing as well, and they weren't even attending the outpatient. The female clients, he was like keeping them like chained to fucking beds and like having dudes come in and like prostituting these clients out. And this is a healthcare facility. Dude got caught ultimately, and he got sentenced to like 86 years in prison, which he deserves. But there was never a shortage of that shit, dude. Like, that was one of the extreme cases, but there is so much insurance fraud and there is so much taking advantage of clients to benefit the facilities that it's just sickening. The only place you don't see it is like state-funded facilities. And you don't see it in New York because Medicaid.
We've got another proud partner, Marley Martinez Web Design. Have you noticed that maybe half of the websites you go on online really look like digital posters that's just going to route you to someone's fucking OnlyFans or to their email? You need a real fucking website. You need to hit the market with integrity. Some of these fucking websites is like Squarespace needs a human being, a guest-facing human being to guide you because people don't know what the fuck they're doing. Marley Martinez will put together a fluid, a crisp, a dynamite representation of what your business or your mission or your goal is in this market. Logos, websites. Maybe you want your hobby taken seriously, right? You're needing fucking socks for your Italian Greyhound? Time to hit the market. And you want to do it seriously. Marley Martinez Web Design. Proud partner, Grandma Naked Studios. Insane. I got my Oculus. When in the beginning of the pandemic, I got an Oculus because I'm like, fuck it, let me just become a fucking a gamer now. I abandoned video games. I was 13 years old. Did you
do the Anne Frank simulation on there?
Dude, that was like the first thing I fucking did. I'm like, what a dump. But and then I started doing open mics on the fucking.
Really,
bro? I got to show you this thing. It can be sad. Like you could end up like following like a 14-year-old who's just like.
It crushes, right?
No, it's really. I've never seen anyone crush. I've seen mics where they end with like a headliner who apparently is like a guy who gets booked in his own real life. Devastating, dude. But it's funny, like you literally get physical. If you're a physical comic, you can still portray that shit in a VR mic. I want to do the mic and try to film it so I can put it on the pod. I know I can do it. It's just going to be annoying to set up.
Dude, some of this fucking shit, like I started comedy during COVID. And it's worked wonders for me. But I've seen some of the shitty. I've also seen some of the best lineups, like without a doubt. My first comedy show, I wasn't doing comedy at this point.
Yeah.
First show I went to during COVID, I found out it was outdoors in a fucking parking lot behind like a yoga studio, and comics were performing out of the back of a pickup truck. And the lineup that was announced, it was Erica Rhodes. Do you know who that is?
No, but I heard that name.
She's great. Phenomenal. Really nice lady, too. Erica Rhodes, Ian Edwards.
Oh, wow.
You know who Ian Edwards
Fuck
is,
yeah.
Right? Andrew Santino.
Yeah.
Tom Segura. And a special guest. And we were like, who's the fucking special guest? And fucking Bill Burr pulls up. And it was one of the craziest shows I've ever gone to. And, yeah, dude, it was fucking nuts. But I've also seen some of the worst. I saw somebody put a headliner up that was like this fucking Indian comic, and like Indian comics are good, dude. Like Russell Peters crushes.
Yeah,
The dude is a fucking monster.
Yeah, arena guy.
And like Kamal Nanjiani, fucking hilarious. Like these people, they put this fucking dude up, and I met him in like a mic where people just like practice running their shit, and then I watched him headline once, and I was like, how long has this guy been doing comedy? And they're like, oh, 10 years, bro. This dude, first off, he was Indian, and then on top of being Indian, he had a lisp, which I've never fucking heard in my life, dude. And it was hilarious. I'll show you some of his shit later. But like, it was so bad. And then it just had to click in my mind. I was like, he's dog shit. And then something in my mind went, yeah, but he probably crushes in Mumbai, dude. Like, he probably fucking.
Yeah, Bollywood.
Dude, he.
Beast.
Yeah.
Did you see what happened to Kumail Nanjiani? Did you see that physiological promotion his wife got?
No, but have you seen his pic of him shredded?
That is so much substance. I grew up in Jersey. Like, I wanted to be a fucking sauce gym rat ape. Yeah. Bro, I had so many. I worked out with guys on sauce on purpose because I wanted to try to push myself to. I was so close to taking fucking steroids. I came
close a few months ago.
Really?
I was doing really good in the gym until about 2.5 months ago. And I was sticking with it longer than I ever have. I was in it for like 3.5, 4 months.
You think heroin's addicting, dude? Steroids, when you see you change, you have control over the way your body looks, and that you even got more energy, and that you even are a little bit more horny, and you can control the way that's fucking addiction, bro. And what sucks the most is more like that mental battle, because then you're off the shit and you can't take the same control of your body.
It's not just the addiction to steroids though, because the underlying issue with steroids from standpoint of working in mental health treatment is usually it's resulting from body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
And that shit, the thing with body dysmorphia is no matter how fucking much you fixate on fixing something about your body, you'll just move to something else and it'll never be enough. And it's sick.
Dude, so many of my friends I watched, it was 3 months get the body they always wanted. I had a kid I grew up with.
But they're still not happy and they go for more.
They're not, but I can tell you undeniably that they made their shit look rocking.
Because what we see from the outside, but what they feel is they don't see that shit.
Yeah.
It's almost like, what was that fucking Shallow Hal?
Yeah.
Like the opposite. Like we see somebody super ripped and they think they're Jared from Subway, like pre-child molestation.
And this is another pinnacle of Olympic territory. Fucking steroids. I remember I was working at a bank. I was like 20 years old working at a bank in Union City, New Jersey, and this banging looking Cuban chick who was working there, much older than all of us. She was like, if anything, too open about her personal life. And I'm like, one day I'm like in the middle of a fucking Italian sub at lunch, and she's talking about how like her boyfriend, who she had been dating forever, who was jacked, had been taking sauce for a minute, how they need to plan sex because his dick don't work.
Yeah, let's plan this around your cycle, bro.
31 years old and his dick don't work.
Jesus Christ. Bro, don't you just fucking... I love, but I also hate like when people are too open about their personal shit. Because there's sometimes where it's
We did just open this episode with a fucking behind the actor studio of your addiction. But that was fun.
Yeah, hey, my mom died fucking 6 weeks ago. You know, like... Yeah.
Ho.
Yeah. No. Get over it, you fucking loser. No. So yeah, like last night, there's this comic on stage. This is how fucked up I am. Like my addiction has like changed from like drugs and alcohol to like I still struggle with food. Like I've tried to start a diet since I got back from New York at least 7 different times, and I do really well during the day, and I'll like eat salads and shit, and then like the nighttime hits, and it's like I'm gonna go have all you can eat sushi 4 times a week. Like I don't know what the fuck it's about, but last night this comic's on stage and she has no fucking legs. Like literally no feet, bro. I'm talking about like fucking cankle, nothing. Like right there, just gone. Which is also like, why do stand-up comedy? You know what I mean? Out of anything, like, dude. And these people want equal fucking rights because they could do any fucking job that we can, bro. Like, we had to lift your fucking wheelchair onto the stage. And on top of it, when I lifted her down, of course, my luck, I broke the fucking handle off of her wheelchair. I got no leg to stand on with that. Neither does she. No, so like as she's talking about losing her feet to diabetes, my fucking brain is like, I'm craving sweets after this show. I don't know why. So I hit this girl up because she's a fucking baker. She bakes wedding cakes and shit. And I go, literally what I said was, where the fuck is it?
Who bakes cakes? You're not talking about fucking ASAP Nobby.
Yeah, no, the girl that I'm talking to.
Oh, okay.
So I go, she's like, how's your night going? And I'm like, hey, you still got them cupcakes that you made?
You talking about her tits?
No, she literally made cupcakes, bro. Like, she's a fire. She bakes wedding cakes, dude. Decorates them and everything.
She's got a business?
She's starting one right now.
We need to get her on as a fucking sponsor, boy.
I know, we need to plug her business, which we'll do.
She just has to make like 2 red velvet cupcakes for my girlfriend so I could fucking have her sit on them.
She's really good, dude. So I go, you still got them cupcakes? And she goes, got a blowjob waiting for you. And this is how fucked I am. I go, LOL. I go, but for real, them cupcakes.
You got them cupcakes? Yeah, dude.
Shout out to Sal's Pizza. Phenomenal food, but I can I place an order for deliveries? Like, deliveries done, pickup only. Guys, like, I'm like, wow, what a fucking ray of sunshine.
Yeah, they don't care.
I go in to pick up the food. I'm waiting. Like, I order it and I'm waiting. First off, this fucking guy, dude, my mom loved this place. It was down the block from our house, which maybe that's why he was so miserable. He's like, Sal's Pizza, my best customer, died 2 weeks ago, you know, like fucking. And he was just so rude. I was like, oh, let me get some Zeppoles. He was like, could you pick something else? I got to make them. And I was like, I'm sorry, that's what, amazing. Dude? Yeah, but I was like, fine, I'll get the mozzarella sticks. And they were dog shit. But yeah, dude, fucking.
Wow, I haven't heard the word Zeppoles in fucking like 5 years.
And then I was just talking ridiculous shit in the waiting room to the person I was with. And I was just like, literally just roasting this guy. I'm like, Sal's Pizza, hurry up and order so I could fucking hang myself in the back room. And somebody was like, dude, fucking, he's gonna hear you and spit. I was like, dude, Sal spit in our food. That's why we came here. And then they're like, is that Sal? I was like, that better be fucking Sal. With the attitude that he has, that's Sal.
Yeah.
Even if that's not Sal, that's Sal.
This is Long Island Sal's Pizza. How many fucking Sal's are going to... I personally know like 4 Sal's Pizzas.
Dude,
and they're all banging. Like, I don't even have to specify which one is the good one.
People want to throw and then out here, people want to throw the name Sal on their restaurant to make it sound good. Like, have you been to Fat Sal's down the block?
Oh yeah, of course. But
we're making sandwiches over here.
I gotta be honest. Some of the shit they make is pretty
good.
Banging.
Dude, I thought I was gonna have a heart attack once eating their food. Like, literally got a pain in my chest.
Yeah, it's that bad.
And I was just
dude.
like, I was like, this is how it ends.
The Rutgers University in New Jersey started that culture, and they called them. They were called fat bitch sandwiches. Literally, they're called fat trucks, and the main sandwich that they sold, that the most popular, was called the fat bitch, nice, and it was chicken fingers, mozzarella sticks, fries, ketchup, salt, pepper. Oh,
all my Tinder dates, yeah.
Yeah, dude. All right, you know what? We spent fucking enough time here. Do you have a joke or a fun fact you want to share to my Grandma Naked Studios audience before we wrap this bitch up?
Yeah, so I read an article that the reason we have aggressive men in this world is because they were conceived during rough sex. And as a male that is not very strong and who has been beaten up in the past a lot, I think it is very important to keep in mind that if you've ever been beaten up by a violent maniac, just know that his mother was a filthy cum dumpster. And if you're out there and you're not laughing at that and you want to beat me up, I'm in Encino, California. Please bring your mother with you.
Fuck yeah, dude. Grandma Naked Studios, hollaatyourboy.com. Again, shouting out Arugami Media, our in-house boutique ad agency, shouting out Michael Navarrete, Droppin' Dimes podcast, and relationship coach, shouting out DNR Pest Control done right, and of course, Marley Martinez Web Design. Get your life together.